walls.
We have a few Iranians here, and this is Rumi. The opening lines to to Rumi's famous work, the Masnavi. Hearken to this reed forlorn, breathing ever since was torn from its rushy bed, a strain of impassioned love and pain, love and pain. Oh, love and pain. The secret of my song, though near, none can see and none can hear. Oh, for the friend who knows the sign and mingles all his soul with mine, with mine, with mine. Ooh, ooh. 'Tis the flame of love that fired me, the wine of love inspired me. Wouldst thou learn how lovers bleed? Hearken, hearken to the reed, to the reed. The secret of my song, though near, none can see and none can hear. Oh, for the friend who knows the sign and mingles all his soul with mine, with mine, with mine. Ooh, ooh, hearken, hearken to the reed, to the reed. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Jai Baba.
Lovely,
Well, Roxy stayed
thank you.
a little bit longer.
Thank you. No, I'm gonna stay till 8 because yeah. Is this the one that says بشنو از نی چون حکایت میکند از جدایی ها شکایت میکند? And he's like, I have no idea.
Yes.
What is it? How, translate those words.
Where's
Yeah,
Thursday when we need her?
it's the one that's that says the reef is complaining from separation, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So the song for it goes like this: "Bishnaz ne chon hekayat mikonad That's how it goes. I don't know the rest, but
Uh-huh. Yeah,
that I love it. This is gorgeous,
that, that
beautiful music.
that one was by Jim Meyer, the melody.
Beautiful,
You know,
beautiful.
the imagery of a reed of grass that's torn away from its bed of rushes, hollowed out, and through that reed, this which becomes like a flute, the lament of God, a love for God, and the longing is played. Yeah.
I totally forgot I'm being recorded. Sorry.
Oh, hey, this reminds me.
Not sorry.
Uh, uh, since we're on the subject of Rumi, and here's a couple of quotes that I like of Rumi. This is one that Erich liked. If you cannot pray to God sincerely, offer your dry, agnostic, hypocritical prayer, for God in his mercy accepts bad coin. If you cannot pray to God sincerely, offer your dry, agnostic, hypocritical prayer, for God in his mercy accepts a bad coin. Here's another one. By the time the intellect has selected a camel for the pilgrimage to Mecca, love has already climbed Mount Sinai.
Jeff, what is the title of the first one?
What do you mean? The song or?
No, yeah, this the title of the poem, the one right before this one. Do you have the title for that?
You mean the one about
Yeah, the reef.
The coin. No, the coin.
oh, that is from a it's a book of translations by someone named Daniel Liebert, Leibert, and it was a book of translations that Erich liked very much. In there, he says, in that same poem, he says, oh my God, I'm trying to think. Since when you were an infant, when has helplessness ever failed you? From when you were an infant, when has helplessness ever failed you? And there's another one that some of you have heard this. The beloved is the master tailor, but unless you bring the scattered strands of your life into a single thread, how will they pass through the eye of his needle? Succeed in this, and day by day, he will sew you into the magnificent tapestry of his own being. I mean,
I love that.
I hope you guys are hearing this. I don't know.
Yes, we're hearing
I like this one here. Love is the last 30-pound bale. When you load it on, the boat tips over. Love is the last 30-pound bale. When you load it on, the boat tips over. Or here's one. This is Out Beyond. I'll sing it because I can't remember it if I recite it. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas and language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas and language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there. I don't know if that's audible.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. I've not heard the whole thing.
Here's a
Nice.
quote from a Sufi master. Now this is a PhD level. There's one. I'll give you another one. In the battle of love, I mean this is kind of PhD level. In the battle of love, none but the lovers are slain. The weak and wicked escape from injury. O you who are the true lover, flee not from the battle. Those who are not killed are dead to love.
Oh.
Now here's another one. I got this one today. This is a Sufi, one of the Sufi great saints. Give me the pain of love for you, not the joy of love, just the pain of love. And I will pay the price, any price you ask. All myself I offer for it, and the price you will ask, and the price you will ask on top of it. Keep the joy for others. Give me the pain, and gladly I will pay for the pain of love. That's more like
Wow.
St. Francis. That's where St. Francis was coming from. Or Erich, or the Mandali. I think I told you one time in Mandalay Hall back in the 70s, we were all gathered there. Oh no, that's okay, I'm done. And Erich had been talking, and I found myself looking through a particular window at Erich, and I saw him in a different light, and I said, Erich, I have a feeling that if I were to, well, first I should say that Erich was very casual and relaxed and so much fun to be with, entertaining, and told the beautiful stories about us. So he was very casual. But I was looking at him on this particular day, afternoon, and I said to Erich, I have a feeling that if I were to inhabit your body for a half hour, all I'd want to do is go unconscious and asleep. And he looked at me with such acknowledgement. I knew that if I were to inhabit his body for a half hour, I would be crushed, because the amount of suffering that he was able to gladly bear was way beyond my tolerance level. And one time I was working on Balkaud Shuri in one of the back rooms at the trust compound. I was massaging him, and I had him in my clutches, so to speak. He was on the bed there, and I was working on him. He was face down, and I said, Bao, I'm going to quote to you a famous Sufi line, and I would like to know whether you found it to be true for you in the Mandali. And the line actually turns out to be from Mansur Halaj. Suffering is he, happiness is from him. Suffering is he, happiness is from him. I said, would you say that was true for you and the Mandali? And Bao said, we were only aware of his suffering, year in and year out, day in and day out, moment to moment. We were aware of his suffering. But if someone came to Merazad, they got the happiness from him. They couldn't be just there in bliss and Baba's right next to him in infinite suffering. They had to be speaking the same language. But they didn't. They didn't let us know about that. You kind of discovered that as you went along. Because it would be like a father saying, telling his kids, you know, I have to go off to the factory. The boss abuses me. I have to work extra hours. And, you know, it's terrible just to get food on the table for you and pay for this house. A parent can't do that to their children. And they didn't reveal their experience. You had to kind of get it through the back door. So, Marinaz, anything, any remembrance of your father that comes to you just off the top of your head? Anything that?
You know, when I heard you talking about the suffering, it really clicked to me. And it's so much true. When Baba said that the path of spirituality is full of bumps all the way, and we gotta hold on to his Dhamma through this spiritual journey if we had decided to go on this journey. We have to hold on to his Dhamma, otherwise it's going to be tough. So, you know, when I remember when my dad fell, I was in America. I couldn't go and see him on time because my passport was there. It was taking long for my passport to get ready from Washington. So during that 6 weeks, he was suffering. All was happening to him. He was suffering. He was suffering. He was at the time when he fell, until they found him on the ground, was like 6 hours, or actually until he pulled himself all the way to the front of the house and grabbed the phone and called my sister to come and help him. It took him about 6 hours, from 2 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock in the morning. So all this time he was suffering. But for him, when I would talk to him on the phone and say, Dad, how are you doing? And I'll be coming there any days. He said that I'm just happy because I know that through this suffering, I'm getting close and closer to my love, to my everlasting, or I don't know how to say this. Baba was his first love as a young child, 8-year-old child, falling in love with Meher Baba was the only thing that he had all through 80 years after his life that he lived. So yeah, the suffering is just I mean, all of us, look at the situation, look at the life that we are going right now through. All of us that are sitting here, we are staying home, like, right? The life is not like before. We are at home. We can't have a normal life like before. It's a suffering, isn't it? We are going through the suffering. So it really just it's different type of suffering, right? My dad went through that type of suffering. We are now going through this type of suffering, but it's all through this spiritual journey that we have chosen to be, and that's how we see it. I mean, I see it that way from the first day when this pandemic came, and I knew that all of us are in that place of suffering. But if we take it through a way, through eyes of spirituality, then we are happy, right? We are happy. We are happy that we are going through this because we know that it's Baba's will. So I don't think it was even a day during this last 7 months now that we had to stay at home. It wasn't even one day that I thought about, I asked, why? Why is it happening to us? Never. Because I knew that it's Baba's will. It's that type of suffering that we have to go through. So yeah, what you said was just so powerful. Yeah, thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, no, these are difficult times, and to the extent that we are open to the collective, uh, we experience all the more, not just our own private suffering, but what's going on in the world around us, which
So,
you know,
can I
except
ask a
Ganesh.
question? Right. May I ask a question?
Yeah,
to you
go
both?
ahead. Yeah.
I wanted to know, did Baba have any preference in physical or mental suffering? Because I tolerate physical pain very well. It's the mental ones that really hurt.
Yeah.
So which ones have more power on
Well, Baba said mental suffering is more difficult than physical suffering. In fact, sometimes physical suffering comes when mental suffering gets unmanageable. Then sometimes you find that you get physically sick. It takes,
yeah.
it takes your focus away from the mental suffering for the time being, and you have to deal with your physical suffering. Now, I see, just 1 second, Dave has got this picture there. Hold that picture forward again. See, I don't know if you see, there's Baba. Bring it down a little bit, Dave, down a little bit. Down, 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 right there. There he is. That's our Baba. Lovely. Yeah, well, we got Mayor Prasad from Seattle, and Peter from
Oh yeah, is there a Baba Center in Seattle that we can visit?
No, go ahead, Mayor Prasad. She's asking if there's a Baba Center in Seattle.
There is no center, but every weekend we do get together on Zoom. Every Saturday we get together for about an hour or an hour and a half. Before the COVID, we would do it, and we would take turns to meet in people's houses. But now it's basically on Zoom.
And a very good food if Anil and Vijay Shri Nori were, I know they did some cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Betty was saying that Anil and his brother came and stayed at our house, but because of my stroke that I had, I can't remember so many things. And so the most important thing is I will try to remember, to remember, to remember, to remember Meher Baba.
Yep. I
And
know.
I got that from you, Jeff.
What's that?
You taught me that about 2 months ago. I snuck into your evening meeting. I guess it was about 11:30 at night, something like that, 2 or 3 months ago. Maybe it was more. And you taught me that key. And I was so grateful for you teaching me that.
Mhm.
Wow. I have no recollection. I mean, except that you're being on, but here's an interesting thing. I looked after Ella Winterfeld. Fred and Ella Winterfeld were two old, Western followers of Baba, very dear.
Yes.
And I looked after Fred. I was with him until he passed on. This was at the center in Myrtle Beach. And then Ella, in her latter part of her years, she got dementia. And sometimes she couldn't recognize people that she had been seeing for years. I mean, she could kind of recognize my voice, but certain people that she could no longer recognize who they were. But the amazing thing was, she never looked at a photograph of Baba and said, "Who's he?" In other words, I was amazed. In other words, whatever faculty we have, we must see Baba from a different place within us that's not affected by any dementia or any problem with our psyche. And even though, like I say, she couldn't recognize us, but she always knew Baba. That's amazing. Yeah. Ganesh, what do you have? What do you got on tap there? As
I'm
they
just
say.
listening and soaking what is being said over here. So right now,
What's
just
that?
happy to listen. I'm
Uh-huh.
happy to listen.
Yeah.
I'm happy to listen.
Jeff, Jeff, also I wanted to mention this one when you said about this Alzheimer thing. We had Clint Schneider, as you perhaps know him or you don't know him, I don't know.
Yes.
Yes, so when he passed away a few months ago, during the, that was like exactly how many months? Actually, it's more than 3-4 months. It's before Corona. So I think it was before Corona, yeah. So anyhow, during the time when he was going through, because he got Alzheimer disease, right? So during that last year before his life, he, when we get together for meeting, the meeting was always in his house. So when we get together to his meeting, in his house for meeting, he, we could tell he started not recognizing us anymore. Started, things was coming along, and we could understand why. But one thing that all of us were so astonished or so amazed that when it was prayer time, he could say prayer, every single word of the prayer. It was amazing, loud and so clear, and was just, he could recognize pictures, Baba's pictures, as you just said about that individual. So, even during those times, they are still, Baba has its way of.
So Baba was with him.
Baba was with him, absolutely.
Oh, thank God.
Absolutely. So, yeah, even the very, very last few days of his life still.
Oh, wow. Oh, such a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Yeah, we miss him. We miss him a lot here. We miss him. Absolutely.
I've been at the passing of a lot of the Baba lovers. And the thing I notice, I mean, invariably, that they have no problem as they approach passing on. In fact, before they pass on, they start living partly in the inner world and the outer world at the same time.
Wow.
And without our knowing it, this is how I explain it. Without our knowing it, we are spending a lot of time in the non-physical realm in our life with Baba, with even though we may not realize. So that as we approach death, we're looking over at this land that we've spent so much time in. I mean, all of our acts of love and our creativity and everything is coming from the non-physical. So it's just like shifting your weight from one leg to the other, going from life to death.
Wow.
And whereas a lot of people who haven't had that spiritual development, they come up to death and it's like a 1,000-foot drop off, you know, because they haven't spent much time on the so-called other side. But a lot of Baba people say, "Oh, Jeff, if you really knew what it's like over here."
Wow.
You know, it's very expansive and magnificent, and nothing to be afraid of. Bob Brown used to worry about dying. You know, he was always kind of, you know, for about 20 years he was worried about death and everything. And I used to say, you know, you're using your present consciousness to imagine what it's going to be like 20 years from now. I mean, your consciousness is going to go through so many changes between now and then. So it might not be a problem at all. And when he did approach death, he was perfectly fine with it. No big deal.
Oh, what a story.
But Baba will be there, and yeah, it's not anything to be afraid of. As I've seen, I haven't seen anybody, any Baba person that I've been with who has passed on who was fearful of dying. They are in a very nice place.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, I hate to tell you, this is really the afterlife, you know, all of you folks. No, I'm just joking.
Right now. Oh, you mean staying up with Jeff is the afterlife.
Yeah, this is the Lanita, I can't hear you. I can see your time.
It's not afterlife, it's after arti.
Yeah. Yeah,
But you know, Jeff, you talk about the Baba lovers that are, when they pass on, they very.
Uh-oh, you've frozen.
Uh-oh. Is she okay?
Yeah, it's just that her Wi-Fi is not good in the building.
Okay, I'm not gonna to them because it's good now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I just want to say that very fast before my thing goes off again.
Yeah.
That well, he was so peaceful. You know, he was 3 weeks before he passed away. He said, "I'm ready. I'm ready to go."
This is her husband, Ira.
And yeah. And then his cancer went to his brain, you know. And then he said, "That's it," because the cancer was all over his body. But, you know, and when his brain, he said, "Well, that's it." Then I took him to the hospital. And he was 3 weeks that he was there. His friends visit him. You know, they laugh and they reminiscing about the past, about when they were younger or whatever. He watched football on TV. He was like living the life in the hospital for 3 weeks. He was so peaceful. And he died in my arms, you know, not saying nothing, no pain, nothing. He was just, you know, stop breathing, like the breath started getting very shallow and shallow and shallow until it disappeared, you know. But he was like, you know, just went very, very calm.
What a gift.
Yeah, beautiful. This is one of
He
the
was,
many beautiful things that Baba
yeah.
gives to us.
I'm so excited. I just can't wait.
Hey, now you got to get out and mow that lawn. Now. You can't get out of mowing the lawn that way. That doesn't cut it. Hey, Peter, how goes, Peter?
Good. I'm feeling better now. Like you hit the nail on the head with mental suffering. Like yesterday was like I was off work and I was feeling down and sort of sad, lonely, like depressed. I can't wait till this COVID thing's over. I miss like seeing friends more often, socializing, and going out some places. And it's been hard, but I always think Baba's working in all of us, and I almost think he just wants us to go more inwardly, which like I'm more the opposite, more like an outward social person. I miss like events around town, chamber socials, but today was a lot better of a day with working and staying active. But yeah, like I just can't wait till COVID's over.
Yeah.
Come to Arti, have fun with us, Peter.
Well, I mean, I try, but like during the morning I work, so I mean that's pretty hard. Maybe I'll come to more evening arties, but
in the evening. I don't. Yeah, come in the evening. We love
I'll
to
try.
We love to hear you sing and play your guitar.
Thanks, Lenita. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We miss you. I miss you here.
No,
You used to come a lot. Now you're not coming.
I did. Well, that was when I had more free time too. We can't really Zoom on at work though anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Where are you? Where are everybody? Where is everybody?
Myrtle Beach.
Oh, you're in Myrtle Beach too.
Myrtle Beach, yeah.
But you're just right down the street.
Just right down the street, yep.
Yeah.
We live next to each other.
Yes, we do.
It's my neighbor, and I never went over and met him.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Mayor Prasad, anything you've read that has struck your interest lately, or any kind of thoughts that are passing through?
No, the only thing that keeps ringing in my mind is what Esfandiar said in one of his interviews that I shared on Effort and Grace the other day. He talks about always remember at the back of your mind that this is Baba's work you're doing. Keep remembering that.
Yeah.
Feeling that before the start of the work every day morning is really helping me a lot during the day when I'm dealing with work.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said,
I'm so touched by so many people like that I've known for over 50 years. They wake up and offer their day to Baba, and they they say the prayers, they remember his name, they try to live for him, and you're 50 years gone by, they're still doing it. It's unbelievable, the longevity of how deeply Baba enters our lives. I'm very inspired.
Lenita's husband had such a beautiful, precious departure. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was precious. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-oh. Yikes.
What happened?
David.
Something happened to my
What?
Something happened to my
Where?
computer.
You're
I'm
still
here.
there.
Oh, okay, good.
David, I just want to tell you something. The
Yeah.
continuation. Can you hear me, David?
Yeah.
No, I can't. I can't hear you.
No? Okay, so then
No,
I won't talk.
No, he can hear you.
I just want to say that when we had a service for him, he was in the coffin. It was open coffin. No, closed coffin, sorry.
He was still awake?
No, he was he passed on.
Oh,
So
well,
what happened was, before he went to the cremation place, they opened the coffin so I can see him for the last time, you know. And then I said it to him, Ira, do you know how much I pay for this coffee?
it went up in smoke.
That was a very, because Ira, he always concerned about the price of the things, you know. He was very economical, you know.
Yeah.
I said to him, he wanna know. I'm sure he would know. He want to know how much I paid for the coffee. And I said, I was very cheap. It was like $800. Do you know what he did, David? He winked to me. He go like
What?
he winked.
Uh-huh.
No, no. He oh boy. Oh boy. Ooh.
Yep.
You know, he didn't dare to look at me when I told him the price of the coffee.
Wow.
Beautiful.
You weren't seeing things, right?
That's what Mansari said when a number of people said when Baba was in the tomb there. Occasionally he would open his eyes and see people or wink at them. That was a number of people reported that.
See?
Oh my.
Yeah,
Wow.
it can be done.
That's gonna be practiced though.
And then there's more. And then when I saw my daughter and I, we were standing by the coffin was open because we want to see him for the last time. So then I remember, I said to my daughter, Anna, I forgot, because Ira had asked me, I mean, before, you know, he died, of course, that he wants me to put a little card in his pocket, you know, before they close the Baba's card, you know, put a picture of Baba in his pocket before they closed the coffin. And I said, oh, Anna, I forgot about this. I don't have any card. And she said, Mom, go to your pocket, to your bag. I'm sure you have a card. And I went. I don't carry Baba's card in my bag at all. And I went and I looked and I had a card.
Wow. Whoa.
Then I took the card and put it in his pocket. Then they closed the coffin.
Wow.
Baba's card went with him wherever he went.
Yeah.
He took the card with him.
That's the visa.
Yeah.
Oh, the passport. Yeah. Oh, I gotta get.
Yes, I love that. It was the visa. That was funny.
Hey, so Telly, anything that comes to mind for you over this past number of days?
Just remembering when Dr. Kenmore dropped his body was in the spring of, was it?
He was one of Baba's Mandali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was things like him too, you know, opening his eyes, even though he was, you know, laid out. I don't remember anything specific, but I know there was stuff going on that made you realize that he was very much there, even though his body was no longer technically working.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why they call it dropping the body.
Yeah. Yeah, Baba used that phrase, dropping the body.
From how high?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Dr. Kimwar, when I went to India in '71, at that point, that would have been for the Amar Tithi. And Kimwar at that point was in the hospital, I guess, literally dying of cancer,
Oh.
I recall. So we visited him, and his thing was to say, feel Baba in the tomb. The important thing is to get to the tomb and feel Baba's presence. He was very emphatic about that.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah.
He was an incredible being. What a presence.
When I first met him at the society, I was going by the name of Chuck. And the first thing out of his mouth to me was, how much wood can a woodchuck chuck? If a woodchuck could chuck wood.
Uh,
But he said it with all that force that he always would say.
yeah, you said it like an Old Testament prophet,
Yeah, right.
usually. A
Right.
bellowing
He
voice.
bellowed it. So he could really, I don't know, just interesting to be in that energy.
Can you say it 10 times? Can you say that 10 times?
Oh. The way he would say it.
When he was last saw Baba, he was wondering if he should come to the last darshan. At that time it wasn't the last darshan. It was the darshan in the spring of '69, and Baba said, "No, I will see you after the darshan." So he made the darshan was from, I think, April to May, something like that, and I think he went in June. But Baba said that, I will see you then. And then Baba dropped his body, and he got a hold of Erich, contacted Erich and said, Baba said that he would see me in, after the darshan, and he's dropped his body. So should I come? And Erich said, yes, come. So he came to Marazad there, and he stayed there for a while and everything, and he and Erich would go for walks. And I mean, Dr. Kimler told me this, and they were walking down the approach road. They would go the approach road to Marazad, and there were the fields and the farms, and suddenly a farmer came up to them as they were walking along. Harry was blind, so he's and this man comes up, and there's an exchange with with Erich, and this man takes Harry's hand, and he also, a farmer. Now a farmer never does anything like that, and he put his hand and felt Dr. Kenmore's cheek, which is like totally unheard of. And then Harry said, what did he look like? Where is he? Where is he? He just disappeared. And they're just fields. Where did the guy go? And afterwards, Harry said, those were not the hands of a farmer. Those hands were too soft. And he said, Baba used to, because he was blind, Baba would check his face to see whether he had shaved completely. And so this farmer was really, Baba fulfilled his promise that he would meet him after the darshan, after he had dropped his body. He met him on the approach road to Marazad. And then he was taken to Mera and the women mandali, and they felt that was Baba who came and met them on the road.
I forgot about that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Now we've given Ganesh enough time to work up some questions, or get some quotes or something.
I'm just listening today. I'm just enjoying listening today. No questions. It's like it's
Okay.
beautiful.
Let me ask
What Lenita said, what you're saying. So
Priya, anything
yes.
there, or any questions or anything?
I do. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
I've sort of been something playing on my mind, and I don't know if Baba had said anything about this. I'm sure he did, but it's best to ask all of you here. There is this concept of an outsider. I wonder if people from the West experienced that when they, came here to Mehrabad. And now, of late in India, I live in Goa, and the government here is trying to keep the fishing only for the locals. And there are a lot of other people who moved here about 15, 20 years ago. And it's like the livelihood would be taken away from them. And there's just so much going on already. And then you realize that the lack of creativity in leadership. Sometimes one wonders, where is all this going, and who does the land belong to? Where do we really belong? And the sense of belongingness. And I was just wondering if Baba had said anything about this.
About the concept of belonging, or like this
feeling.
Say that again.
Or feeling like an outsider somewhere,
Yeah.
or treated like an outsider.
Well, what I gathered from the mandali is if you look after everyone, if you're in readiness to look after everyone, all people, not just your own family, but if you look in readiness to look after everyone, Erich would say to be a caretaker of this world. If you have the audacity to think of yourself as a caretaker of this world,
Wow.
you will always belong.
Wow.
To
everything.
Do you follow? Does that?
Are you saying you will always belong to everything?
Yeah, I mean, if you, Erich used to say from time to time, this whole world is yours, but you have to claim it. Through love, you bring everything that's outside of you inside of you. In other words, if you love birds and you learn all their names and you get to know all of them, after a while, the birds are not only just flying outside of you, they start to fly around inside of you.
And
so you can incorporate it, because you're not just Priya. Priya is just one part of you. You're the everyone is you, with a capital Y, you might say.
Today is Erich's birthday, by the way.
Oh, Erich is, yeah.
Yeah. I have a quote from him.
Oh, good. Hey, so but just backing up,
Yes,
the one thing that the mandali, the greatest gift that I felt for myself from the mandali, is they gave me a feeling of belonging. And if you belong, if you feel you belong, you can be in a ditch, hungry and cold, and you can endure it. But if you don't feel you belong, even an uncomfortable chair is an insult. So you say, well, who am I to serve this world? And Erich would say, who are you not to? He would turn it around. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, Mayor Prasad's got a Erich quote.
Yeah. This is called simple and natural. Life is a joy with him. Without him, it is not. Joy is living with him. This is the new life. You are living from the heart, not the mind. He is the deeper self. There is no one to love except yourself. The self is God. Love yourself more and more. This is your inner being.
Okay, read that again. Your sound went in and out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Life is a joy with him. Without him, it is not. Joy is living with him. This is the new life. You are living from the heart, not the mind. He is the deeper self. There is no one to love except yourself. The self is God. Love yourself more and more. This is your inner being.
Wow, that's a rare quote from
Yeah,
Erich.
yeah, I don't remember seeing that before.
What's the source of that?
I
Yeah,
don't.
yesterday somebody put it, the same quote, and it is beautiful, and I never read it before. I don't know where it's from, but it's really beautiful.
Yeah, it
Life
came
is a-
from my, from one of the Baba's groups in India. My brother sent it to me.
See, at the the whole journey, as I've gathered, it's not. It goes from the head to the heart to the soul. But it's not that the mind goes on the journey. It's not that the heart goes on the journey. It's consciousness goes from the head, and then Baba has to uncouple consciousness from looking through the narrow lens of the mind, and he drops it down to the heart, which is much more expansive and everything. But but eventually, the heart is not large enough, and it discovers. It looks for greater freedom, and it finds the divine qualities, which I think is what Mariprasada's reading. The divine qualities that are at the deepest part of us is really who we are and who Baba is. Empathy, generosity, humor, kindness, forgiveness, all of those divine qualities are they're like the foothills uh, that lead to the mountain, the magnificent mountain of the soul. And that, so going and being aware of the deeper, the divine qualities is really like living in more of our real self. That, and those divine
So
qualities come
your
directly
he
from
says
Baba. Huh?
one sentence, love yourself more and more. That's what he says. There is no one to love except yourself. The self is God. Love yourself more and more. This is your inner being. So he says one sentence of love yourself more and more.
Yeah, the consciousness eventually falls in love with the divine qualities, which are at the deeper part of ourself, which is identical with Baba. That's what I gather. And we have those things there. I mean, they're even in the corporate world, those divine qualities.
Everywhere, everybody, no matter who they are.
No, that's good. Great quote. He used to say things like that, but it normally didn't get into print.
Jeff, you were talking about the mandali making people feel belong, right?
Yeah.
I think I've noticed that you have that quality too. You have imbibed that quality from them because you have the same quality, whether you know it or not, where you make people belong.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you.
I agree with you, Mayor Prasad. Jeff got that, He embraced, he embraced, because Jeff embraced us, no matter who you are,
Yeah.
He brings us in, into this
well, we
of love, We feel like we belong. We belong to Jeff.
Well, no, one time back in the 70s, I was crossing the railroad tracks. I used to have experiences of Baba at the railroad tracks on the way up to the tomb. And on this one occasion, Baba flashed to me, "We are all each other." And it was hilarious. We're all think we're separate, but we're all each other. It was, it was hilarious. I went around and, it'd be like, say, this hand is saying, "Oh, I'm this guy," and then this other hand, "Get out of here. You shouldn't be. Get out of my face. I'm the one that's important here. Hey, there you are again."
Ooh.
It's all one. What can I say?
We are one.
That image that Baba gave to me the other night when I was in the lagoon cabin, where he said, the infinite God, the formless God, is a puppeteer, and the avatars are the hand puppets of the puppeteer. You can't say that the puppet is separate from the puppeteer. It's just one and the same. There's only one being there.
Yeah.
And wait until I tell my mortgage broker how many people are living in my house.
That it's just one person living in your house with different costumes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. No, I mean, the whole idea of separateness, which we buy into, is just fabricated. It's just man-made, woman-made.
Yeah.
It's good there's no fences.
What's that?
It's good there's no fences
Yeah,
to keep it all separate.
yeah. No, we're all or you can say we're all, each one of us is Baba in disguise. Baba in the disguise of Lanita, Baba as disguised as Telly, as Ganesh. It's playing these different parts, but it's just one essential, just one essence with different costumes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's so that people are not essentially unknown to us. They might be that their history might not be known to us, but their essence is known to all of us. Yeah. Anyway, it's a kind of a beautiful thing. I found it was hilarious. We're all acting like we're separate and everything. We're just the same, basically the same person.
Thank you, Jeff, for sharing. I gotta live.
Okay,
right
is that Priya?
Bye.
But okay.
It was me. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing. Thank you, everyone. Jai Baba.
Yeah, see you, Marinaz.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Jai Baba.
Great to Thank you
It was
for sharing.
good to see everyone.
Yeah.
Good to see you
Jai
too.
Baba.
Yeah.
Good night. Good night.
See you, Telly. You're heading off.
You now too. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to. Good night.
Okay, maybe I'll see you tomorrow, right, Lanita?
I will go.
Love to you until we meet again. Prayer to you. Keep smiling until then.
Cares about
I love this song. Oh, every time we go away from Merabad, they sing this song to us. The tune is so sad. I cry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, when Ted starts playing this song. Okay. Bye, guys.
See you, Lanita. I can see
tomorrow.
Dinku is showing us her new vent.
What? Dinku?
I was just saying that Dinku was showing us her new vent.
Now?
It's a ceiling vent.
Oh.
I think she's out of food.
I was doing some work in the kitchen, so I put the phone aside.
Yeah.
Hi, Dinku. Hi, Dinku.
Hi, Lanita. I loved hearing your story. It was so touching.
Yeah.
You like my story? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye. Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Jeff, you're going to be here all night, right?
I
You're
am.
going to be here all night?
No, I'll be
Sorry?
here for. I'll be here for a little bit more.
Are you here every day, Jeff? What?
No,
What days are you on?
just Sunday and Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah. Those are because I can't Zoom from the center anymore. So I used to come on from there. Dinku, you got any questions or anything?
No questions, but just I want to say that I started hearing you sing, and I love that song. And I was walking the dog, and then I lost the connection. So I was really disappointed. I hope you sing it again someday.
Yeah. Yeah. We got, I guess, Nasreen is there.
Yes,
Marge.
indeed. Yes, of course.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Jai Baba.
Jay Baba, nice to know you're there.
Yes, of course. We enjoy every minute.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah. See you, Dave.
Bye,
Okay.
Dave.
I love you all.
Yeah.
And would
Love
you
you
please,
too.
when you get into bed, would you please scoot over? You're taking all the room.
Yeah. Well, there's just one of us there, so you know.
Yeah, Jeff, I just thought of something.
Yeah.
You know, you were talking about Alzheimer's and dementia, and this normally happens in the later stages of our lives. Do you think it's a kind of a preparation for, you know, for the afterlife? You know, like when you, in a way, you're remembering the past, you forget about the future. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it could be a preparation, but you mean you remember the past and you're kind of can't remember the present?
Yeah. And you're in another world, so to speak, or you're drifting between the two, you know, the past,
Yeah.
the present.
I don't think it's any handicap for Baba to connect, you know, to do his work, whether we're, you know, 50% there or 90% there, you know, no obstacle for Baba to continue to awaken us. The intellect is, what did Rumi say? In the
Sorry.
in the howling storm of love, what is the intellect but a mere gnat? In the howling storm of love, what is the intellect but a mere gnat?
Okay.
In other words, it's not as critical to our spiritual awakening as we might think.
Uh-huh.
You know, there was one lady here, she and her husband, they met Baba back in the 50s, and a woman named Stella Hernandez, and she was in her, when she got in her upper 80s, like Ella Winterfeld that I mentioned earlier, she couldn't recognize anybody and everything, but her nature continued. You would go there, she didn't couldn't remember who you were, but she would say, "Would you like some tea? And I've made some cakes here." She was so darling. She just went on with how she was, so loving, even though her mind had gone haywire, you know.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing. I mean, of course, Alzheimer's, the disorientation is very disturbing because it's like your mind gets fragmented, all the pieces, and you can't bring it together the way you want for the practical side of your life. But like I say, you can always remember Baba. Somehow the intellect, whether it's you know shattered or fragmented, somehow it's a different part of us that remembers Baba.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
Jeff,
Yeah.
this reminds me, there was a question that I had thought of. Like, this is one thing that is mentioned in Kitty Davis' book. Okay. And it says, she mentions life does not always grow from the present, but in many active points lying in the life that spread forwards and or backwards. So I was just thinking, life does not always grow from the present, she says. So it's like, I thought life always grows from the present. But she says that, but in many active points lying in life that spread forwards and backwards.
Wow.
So, I mean, I was just wondering, like, we understand present as the moment of growth, but she says, and she quotes from Maurice Nicoll. Life does not always grow from the present, but in many active points lying in life that spread forwards or backwards.
Huh. I would have to see the whole context of that. I I can't quite locate that experientially in myself. I mean, just what she means there, or what that gentleman means, huh? Maybe Mayor Prasad knows. Yeah.
So I was just trying to get the good meaning out of this. Life does not always grow from the present, but in many active points lying in life that spread forwards or backwards.
I mean,
So this I picked from the page 212 of One Fine Thread book. It's on page 2 and 2.
Yeah.
I mentioned in my book, Love Alone Prevails, a quote from the writer Maurice Nicoll. And she mentions this quote. So you can look at it.
Of course, your conditioning that we tune in has the past, present, and future in it. And whatever has happened in the past is going to project itself into the future. And the more we can unplug from this passing drama and go into the timeless present, pull out of the passing present into the timeless present, that's what I feel is the work to be done. Withdraw the tentacles of consciousness in being in our past and imagining a future, and get back into the present moment. I once asked, I mean, you probably heard this before. I once quoted, I was in Mandalay Hall, and I said to Merwan, I quoted Baba, live more and more in the present, which is ever beautiful and stretches away beyond the limits of the past and the future. And I said, what does that mean to you, Merwan? And Merwan said, you will only find Baba in the present. You won't find him in the past or the future. People spend so much time, this is Merwan, spends so much time in thinking about the past and the future, and they let Baba slip away right in front of them. And he made this gesture like this, like spilling precious water on desert sand. Just wasting it. So, there you can go and enjoy a lot of great past times and try to relive them, or you can imagine what your future is going to be like. But I mean, what I gathered is if you want Baba, you have to find him in this moment. That
Yeah, I
doesn't
know
mean
Mehra's.
go ahead.
There is Mehra's last message, that last Christmas message to Meher Center. That's exactly along the same lines. I remember that message that she sent, which goes like, um, "Always keep beloved Avatar Meher Baba in your hearts and in your thoughts. Remember, it is not the speed with which you obtain your goals in life that matter, but the time you spare and want to share with your beloved that really matters." Um, so, she said, so uh, with every step you take, remember and try to please your beloved, who is always with you, helping and guiding you on your journey home to Himself, who is the source of all goodness and light. You know, the part that I really like there is it is not the speed with which you obtain your goals in life, but the time you spare and want to share with your beloved, which is basically referring to the present.
Yeah.
Not about your goals, whether they are lofty goals or spiritual goals or any kind of goal. It's just the present moment that you're spending with Him.
Yeah, quote that again. That's great. There's a song that someone put that to music. But quote that again. This was a very, I remember this when this came, this quote. Beautiful that you remember it.
Yeah.
I have it handy if you want me to read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Always keep beloved Meher in your heart and in your thoughts. Remember, it's not the speed with which you obtain your goals in life that counts, but the time that you spare and want to share with your beloved that really matters. So with every step you take in life, remember and try to please your beloved, who is always with you, helping and guiding you on your journey home to Himself, who is the source of all goodness and light. Always keep beloved Meher in your heart and in your thoughts.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, beautiful. What you're looking at, Dinku, it looks like you're looking up at the ceiling.
Thank you, Mayor Prasad, for that.
Yeah. Always
getting attention.
Beloved Meher in your thoughts and in your mind. Yeah, oh shoot.
Your thoughts, remember. It goes like
It
that.
is not the yeah, I wish I could remember.
Yeah, I
Okay.
heard that song too.
Yeah. So, Marge, are you there? Or have you resting? Or Marcia Maltz out there in Chicago? Or Dinesh? Or Yasmin?
Hi, Jeff. Good evening.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I had to mute. My dog started barking.
Oh, okay.
But she walked away now. Yeah, how you doing? Miss seeing you.
Good, good.
Yeah.
We're coming down the home stretch here a little bit.
Yeah. Well, pretty soon it's going to be the new life, October 16th.
Yeah.
That's my father's birthday. I thought that was kind of
Yeah.
kind of neat, right?
Yeah, beautiful time.
Yeah.
Jeff, this reminds me, I know with Bhauji you had written that book, helped them in that book, Meher Baba's New Life, which is wonderful book, and it really is, it covers so beautifully everything about Baba's new life. I just wanted to know your experience in writing that book.
Well, that book was hanging over my head for a long time because it was very hard for me to, with my life at the center was so busy, it was very hard to work concentratedly. But when I was in India, I would get up at 1 in the morning. I go to bed, about 10:30. I wake up at 1, and I would work on that book. And once a month, I mean, a month out of every year. I worked on it for a number of years. And and even to gather the photographs for that book took about 3 years. It was not as easy as you might think. And about the book, originally the book was only about 125 pages. And I said to Bao, much of the information in New Life wasn't available at that time, especially the women's side of the New Life. So I got permission to include all of the women's side of the New Life, and then he kind of gave me permission to gather from all the available sources at that time and put together so that the reader could go on the journey of the New Life. And it's interesting. One thing that I felt about this book is that Ramakrishna, after he became realized, he took the Buddhist path, he took the Hindu path, he took the Muslim path. I don't know if you knew that or read that, but he
Yes, yes, yeah.
adopted himself as a seeker of all the different religions, and I felt that he was clearing. All these paths had gotten so overgrown that as a perfect master, he kind of blazed a new trail through all of the rituals and ceremonies and dogma and everything, and kind of opened up the pathways. And I think that Baba, in the New Life, he played the role of a lover of God, a lover and seeker of God, and he started where we are, and he blazed a trail through creation to Manonash, realization. And he cleared a trail, a pathway, through the incredible forest of illusion over that 2.5 years and arrived at the divine. And like I said, this New Life will live by itself eternally, even if there's no one to live it. He has created this path, and anybody can travel on this path that he has opened up. And it's not a religious path. Ramakrishna, he took the various religions. But Baba, I think, made it very universal, a very human path that Baba opened up for us. And that was kind of one of the main things I got from the New Life. At the time, I just was trying to assemble all of the material. But over time, I began to think more deeply about it. So and it is really about getting into the present.
Hello? Mama. Salam.
Yeah. In other words, all the people, the men and women who arrived, especially the men, when they arrived at Mehrabad, they had to arrive penniless. They had to let go of their past, their family or their business or whatever they were. They had to let go of that. Their future was in Baba's hands, and the present, they had to arrive at Mehrabad penniless. And Baba had all these conditions about basically having to control your mood and be cheerful. So he basically put them in a box of the present. You know, the past is over and the future is not in their hands, and they lived in the present. And through that, I think they themselves went on that journey with Baba into the now, to live in the active present. And brotherliness is the link. That was one of the very interesting period of Baba's life. He just kind of stepped out of the role of being a master, gave up his knowledge and power and bliss, and became an ordinary lover and seeker of God. I think Ramju said he put his mastery in cold storage for the time being. Yeah.
Yeah, when I have to get up at unearthly hours in the morning, like 6 or 6:30, those are times I have a hard time getting up at. I'm not an early riser. When I have to do it because of work reasons or whatever, the thing that occurs to me is I would never ever have survived the new life with Baba waking up people at 3 a.m. and God-forsaken hours, like making them sleep at 2 a.m. and then wake them up at 3 a.m. I don't know, it's super hard.
Well, yeah, they say they wouldn't have been able to do it if Baba hadn't dragged them along.
Yeah.
He would have dragged you along. Yeah. No, I mean, the
Yes.
women, I was so surprised. The women said that it got so cold. I mean, Mara used to say one of her most foremost memories is being freezing cold. So cold that their fingernails turned purple. Now, I've never been that cold. I mean, I've been in very cold weather, never had that happen. So, the outer conditions were terrible, and the horrible food and everything, and you have to be preoccupied with that. And you want to be in a state of love, and then you have to deal with awareness of the profound discomfort of your own body. Adi used to say, don't ask me about the new life. He said that the contradictions were so disturbing to his mind that he just couldn't handle it. In other words, they'd be passing through some village or town in North India, freezing, no blankets, not the proper covering, not the proper food, and right down the street is some longtime Baba lover. And Baba would just pass them by. It just like, what's going on? It's so contrived. The contrived nature of the new life just eventually disturbed his mind so much that he said, I'm going home. He lived
Did,
his
did, he,
life
did
at
he
home.
ever did he ever regret that decision? Do you know? Did he ever say anything about
He never said, he never mentioned that. He would kind of laugh about, that. Don't ask me about the new life.
Yeah. Because I heard that Padri, even though he said he signed he was not going to go, apparently that was actually Baba's order for him not to go.
Yeah.
So that was not the case with Adi, where it was his own decision. So I was wondering if if
There's
that
a
was.
line. Let's see if I can find the new life. Here's this is I asked Alaba about the new life, what it was like. This is what he said. Suppose you are on an ocean liner in the icy waters of the North Atlantic. and you hit an iceberg. The ship is going down in a matter of minutes. What does it matter what your reputation is, how much money you have in the bank, how beautiful your wife is, how to atone for the sins of your past? In a matter of moments, you will be no more. If in the new life you were willing to become a dead man, the life was easy. But if there was anything in this world you held on to, the new life was a tremendous suffering. Yeah.
Wow.
Anything that you held on to, it would rip you apart. But Erich found it a joy.
Yeah.
Well, because there wasn't all that correspondence, all the people and everything. They were just alone with Baba, walking around without all of the outer intense outer activity of people and families and interviews and all of that. Our darshan programs, all of that was stopped for a while.
But at the end of New Life, though, Erich was physically totally in ruins, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He said he was even fainting. He would have fainting spells. That's why he was reluctant to go with Baba to America or to the West, because he thought it would be a drag on Baba. He was actually passing out from sheer exhaustion. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, so I think unless Ganesh has a something there.
When you were saying about Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, actually Baba, I think what I recall reading is Baba did say he was the heralder of the avatar.
He was what?
He called it the heralder.
Oh, the a precursor or the
Ramakrishna.
herald of the avatar. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he kind of like laid the ground and for the avatar to come. So he did an important work.
Yeah.
For the perfect master. And
Yeah, in autobiography of a yogi, there are four of us. There's Mahavatar Babaji, there's Lahari Bhashaya, who's the Yoga Avatar, then there's Sri Yukteswarji, who's the Gyan Avatar, and then there's Guruji, who was the Prem Avatar. And when Sri Yukteswarji sent Guruji to America, he said that, of course, he had undergone the strictest training with Sri Yukteswarji. I mean, no one could withstand that training. Only Guruji could withstand it. And Guruji could withstand it because he was a Prem Avatar. And he told him when he went to the West that forget that you were born in the East and take whatever is good of the West, and you will have to deal with the Americans with love because they will not respond to discipline, like so you will have. So he was called a Prem of that.
Yeah, and Baba always complained too. You know, the what did he say? The Easterners want to be at my feet, but the Westerners want me to be at their feet. But Baba did like the humanness, the whatever, the openness of the Westerners. Just a whole different kind of culture.
It may also be, this is my interpretation, but
Yeah.
I may be totally wrong. But generally, in the East, it's the focus is more on devotion.
Yeah.
They're very devoted. So the devotion is basically at the feet of the master. whereas love is really the opposite. Love makes him the slave of the love of his lovers. So I don't know if he was referring to the East as more devotion and West as more love. So him being at the feet of the West, I don't know if he was referring to the love of his lovers in the West.
Yeah, that's one thing about Jeff mentioned that once about the difference between devotion and love. And I think, I think Meher Baba's way was the way of love. And Guruji's was the way of devotion.
Yeah. And the naturalness. I mean, the line that Eric used to quote so frequently about Baba: "To be natural is most godly." Not to be spiritual is most godly, but to be natural is most godly. So it's a kind of a heart natural, kind of loving approach, and the companionship. Yeah, the companionship is the rather than a high and low, a little bit more of a companionship, where the human relationship, not so much a devotee and the master, but we're very fortunate.
Here is something from the new life.
Yeah.
Here is something of the new life, one little thing that I just found and like to read.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me, right? So this is from
Yeah.
Mani for the cheerfulness of the new life, as we were discussing about the new life. One of the things we heard Baba tell us was, you have to be lords and masters of your faces during the new life, no matter what happens. Which meant never letting one's face betray an unhappy emotion one might feel. But simply masking your face was not much of a solution either, because Baba could draw out the tiniest sliver of emotion that might rise within you. He would detect it and bring it out. Cheerful did not mean you had to go about smiling. If you did that at the wrong time, it was just as bad, and Baba would reprimand. Why are you grinning like that? We still don't understand the meaning of the words cheerful, happy. Cheer can be silent cheer.
Wait. Back up just
Yes.
a little bit there.
Yeah. Cheerful did not mean you had to go about smiling. If you did that at the wrong time, it was just as bad, and Baba would reprimand, why are you grinning like that? We still don't really understand the meaning of the words cheerful, happy. Cheer can be silent, cheer can be absolute silence itself. Happiness is a stillness, not just dancing and singing. This is from Tales of the New Life.
Yeah.
This is by Mani.
Yeah. Oh, and Mani gave that. That wasn't Erich. That was Mani?
Yes, Mani.
Yeah.
That was from Mani.
Yeah.
So she mentioned like
they had to be Lord and Master of their face.
Of your face. You have to be lords and masters of your face. I mean, and it's like in the contradictions, you have to be again cheerful, and you still have to have the joy in your face, and you can't be grinning and all that. So it's kind of. And,
yeah. No, that's the.
I mean, they were superhumans.
Yeah. Moods. Baba said again and again he did not like moods. People getting moody. Because it brings other people down. Yeah. Hey, well, I think it's getting around, it's even after 12. Hey, it's 12:12. I'm going to, I have to get up early.
Okay, please.
I got a walk about in the garden. A bunch of people coming by.
Wow.
So I got more stuff to do. Yeah. Anyway, Mayor Prasad, great to see you. Great to see you, Dinku. Dave, great to see you all throughout the night. Yasmin, Marcia from
Jai Baba.
Nasreen.
Jai Baba, yes, thank you.
Love to Payam and Ellie and
Yes.
Glenn and
All
Mahmood.
right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
And Dinesh.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to hear
Yeah.
you.
Well, Dinku, we're going to have to see each other one of these times in India.
I know. As soon as the center opens up.
Yeah. You'll
Yeah.
be surprised I'm only 4'2". You know, you'll be like real shocked.
Oh.
I'm 5'3". So I'm gonna tower over you.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll be just a little guy, and you think, God, why did I even listen to that little guy?
Well, I hope to come and visit the center in Myrtle Beach someday.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys. See you, Mayor.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Take
Have
care.
a good night, Jeff.
Jai
Thank
Baba,
you so
thank
much.
you.
Avatar.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Bob,
Good
everybody.
night.
Jai Baba.